What's up, year 10s? Just a continuation from our last video on how to write the research question. Just to summarize, the data that you find, the evidence, should be a direct answer to your research question. Okay? When you have the question here, does providing students at Chisholm Catholic College with lollipops daily increase their productivity by increasing their assignment mark? Okay, if that's the question that you have, research question you have posed, okay, by then talking about this evidence, you have directly answered that question. You've answered your research question, which is the whole point of the assignment, is to answer your research question effectively. Okay, so you need to find this evidence first. Okay, you can't don't go on the limb of writing this really cool research question if you then have to chase your tail and try to find evidence that actually proves that, and you can't find it. Okay, it's a lot easier to find this evidence first, and then you write your research question afterwards. Okay, which this evidence would be a direct answer for. Okay. You only need one piece of evidence that's tangible or in a graph or table and quantitative data like this. Obviously, it's a research investigation, and you will need a whole bunch of other references and resources. Obviously, you'll still need to reference a lot of things and research to find information to help you evaluate this and write in your assignment. Okay, but you only need one piece of evidence. Alright, but you'll still need to get a whole bunch of other information to help you evaluate and write your assignment as well on the topic that you're doing. Okay, the best way to find this, okay, is you can't just type in this claim into your Google Scholar. I did a video on how to use Google Scholar and the library resources and how to effectively research, but the key thing is here that you are breaking down this claim. Okay, breaking down the key terms into these questions. You then have to think about these questions. You have to answer these questions in your head with multiple different scenarios. What do you want to look at? You're going to have to do multiple different searches on Google Scholar to find out what articles you can find, okay, on stuff that answers these questions. Alright, so if you're in this situation, to give you a quick situation here, let's say I've chosen modern day medicine is to blame for the halt in human evolution. Okay, medicine or modern day medicine is a key term there. Okay, human evolution is a key term there. Halt is probably a key term there. Let's break these down. Okay, what modern day medicine? Okay, what type of medicine? Are we talking about vaccines? Are we talking about over-the-counter drugs? Okay, are we talking about our ability to wipe out these large diseases that used to affect us way back in the day? Okay, what type of medicine are we talking about? All right, human evolution. All right, what do we mean by human evolution? How are we defining that? What's actually evolving? Okay, are we talking about long-term evolution? Are we talking about short-term evolution? Are we just talking about adaptations of certain parts of our body? Are we looking at large-scale change? Okay, what are the parameters of that? Okay, so these are questions that you need to ask yourself when you're breaking down your key elements of the claim. You need to ask yourself these questions, and you need to then answer those questions to yourself, and then put those answers back into your Google Scholar and your other means of research to try to find those answers. And then if you go, oh yeah, no, that kind of, there's a little bit of information there, then you can then put that into your first possible research question, look to find information on that, refine it, find your evidence, and then rewrite your final research question once you have found that main piece of evidence. And make sure you're still saving all your other information and that you find when you're researching as you go along. Okay, that's still going to help you write in the other parts of your assignment. Okay, and helping you evaluate this evidence that you're going to then find. Okay, if you have then found your one piece of evidence in this situation here on the percentage change of students choosing Catholic colleges, percentage change of their grades if given lollipops, okay, then obviously you're going to need a lot of research on the effects of lollipops on the human body, or the effects that sugar has, or maybe the effects that motivation, extrinsic motivation has on motivating humans, etc., etc. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of information. You then need to break this down and evaluate that claim. Okay, but you need to. But the main thing is you only need one of these main pieces of evidence that you're going to use to evaluate, which directly answers that research question. Okay, keep this. I'm going to get you to break this down. I want you guys to write these questions, okay, and I want you to follow each of these steps. If you do that, it will actually help you when writing about your limitations, because these questions that you've got written down here will help you in breaking down the limitations of your claim, okay, which is a part of your assignment, and it'll also, following this process, okay, will help you in writing your rationale as well. Now, I did a video looking at the exemplar that I have on OneNote, okay, but if you ever, I highly, highly, highly recommend reading through this, like properly reading through it and just seeing what is written. And you can see here, it's been bolded. This is the claim that they started with. Human evolution is still occurring, okay? They've gone from human evolution is still occurring, which is, in this situation here, the same as lollies make people happy, okay? And then they've done a bit of initial research. So again, initial research. You don't just research once. You have to keep compounding on the stuff that you're finding. Okay, it's a process. They've done some initial research, and they've found the question: does cultural practice drive human evolution? That's this thing here. That's their first question. So they've clearly, in this example here, they've broken down human evolution and still occurring, okay? And they've got to, does cultural practice drive human evolution, okay? But then they've done even more information on this, obviously broken down and chucked into Google Scholar, looked at different types of cultural practices and what they actually are, okay? And the effect that has on human evolution, okay? And they have then got to the point of, they've then found some information that suggested many genes may have evolved in the response to agriculture. Okay, they've gone, okay, we can use this information. They've keep building down on it. They've also found that thus this environment modifying activity could have co-directed the evolution of lactase persistence in humans. I'm going, that's a very interesting piece of information there. They've obviously found this here on the lactase presence in humans, okay, and they've gone, okay, well now I can then rewrite my final research question, which is the prevalence of lactose intolerance in Finland linked to practice of domesticating cattle for dairy purposes, all right, which is their data that they found here is directly answering this research question. Okay, they didn't just take our claim, chuck it into Google, and get to here. They followed this process, and you can see here when writing their rationale, it explains this process, which is what you're doing here. Okay, so this is breaking down your claim and thinking about the key points is very, very important. Okay, so what I need you guys to do, I will have a blank one of these sheets up on OneNote. I need you to work through this, and I need by Friday for you to have a finalized research question with your piece of evidence that answers it. Okay, and then that allows us to go on. I can show the next step of how to do this assignment, of how to actually analyze that evidence. So we're looking at analyzing the evidence next. So you need that final research question completed, and you need to have found that evidence. Okay. Happy researching.